Everyone is here already?
Hello.
Okay. And maybe it's better if we have more question from the students. I mean, more time for the students
Certainly, yeah. I'll try
yeah.
and speed it up this time.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll have them out later. And now we can start. Wait a minute. Oke, semuanya, ini Mr. Gordon. Hari ini akan menjelaskan tentang PTE Academic. Itu adalah salah satu tes bahasa Inggris yang digunakan untuk students internasional dalam dunia perkuliahan. Jadi, tes ini sama kayak IELTS atau TOEFL. Dan juga Mr. Gordon akan menjelaskannya sekarang. Okay, Mr. Gordon, you can start now.
Perfect. Oops. Apologies.
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Gordon Van Stone and I work with Pearson PTE Academic, and I look after, I'm the client relations manager for Indonesia. So it's a pleasure to speak with you all today. Salamat sore. I've been working on my Bahasa Indonesian, so good afternoon to you. I'm originally from Vancouver, Canada, and I live in Singapore now. And again, as I said, I look after the Indonesian market, and what I'm going to tell you about today is a high-stakes English language test. So our test is used for when you want to study in university. You may need to show, depending on the program you want to go into, or if you want to study abroad in Australia or Canada or the USA or United Kingdom or countries all over the world, you may need to show your English language level, and you'll be there's various tests you can take for that. You might be familiar with the IELTS or the TOEFL. Another test you can take is the PTE Academic, which is a high-stakes English language test, which universities all over the world and government recognize for their university entrance. So the company that makes PTE Academic is called Pearson. And Pearson is the world's largest education company. You may be familiar with them, use their textbooks or some of their programs, or you may have done some of our other assessments in the past. But we're based all over the world. And so there's lots of experience and lots of professional development behind our assessment. And our test is known as the Fast and Fair English Assessment. So it's very fast for you to get your results back, and it's the most fair test that you can take. And I'll explain more why it's the fastest and fairest as we go on. So the PTE Academic is actually a portfolio of computer-based language tests, meaning that we have the PTE Academic, which you use for university entrance all around the world. And we now have a specific test called the PTE Academic UKVI, which you would take if you want to study in the UK. So if you want to study in Scotland or Ireland or London, England, you would take our PTE Academic UKVI if you need to get a student visa. So if you're going on a pre-sessional or into a language school first, you might need to take that test. I'm going to show you a short video which highlights what makes our test special, what makes it different than other tests.
The world might be on pause, but it doesn't mean I have to wait.
I am ready for success, and nothing is gonna get in my way.
I am sticking to my plan, and I will make it real.
I'm taking action today, so my future can start tomorrow.
PTE is a secure English test for your visa and study application. It's quick and accurate computer-based testing, with results typically available within just 48 hours. PTE. Ready when you are.
So that video is very quick, but it talks about our test being used to reach your goals, whether they be to study in a university abroad, to study in a university in your own country where you need an English language test, or to migrate to another country, to work and to get a visa in a different country in the world. And they talk about the world might be on pause. So it means that, as you know, this year's been very challenging with the COVID situation, and those people thinking about studying abroad, a lot of them with borders closed have had to put those plans on hold. But hopefully in 2021, the borders will open up again, and students like yourself will be able to study in universities around the world. And our test is ready for you then. And it's also the test that's most easy to book into and for your results to come back most quickly. So there's some real good advantages there about when you're ready to go abroad and study. Our test is the easiest one to get access and get your results back quickly so you can start your journey. So what makes our test unique is that it's fair. We use, our test is the only test that's 100% computer-based and computer marked. So we use an AI marking system. AI means artificial intelligence, to mark all parts of the test. That includes your speaking and your essay writing, which for other tests would be marked by a human. And the problem with that is that if a human's marking your speaking in an interview or your writing, there's always a chance for human error and human bias. Human bias means they may be judging you or scoring you lower based on your gender, on your race, on the way you dress, or something else about you, appearance. And with a computer, that won't happen. No matter where you take the test in the world, whether it be, Indonesia, Iceland, Ireland, it doesn't matter. You're all going to be marked the same. Okay. And also, there's no human error. So the fact that your marker had a fight with their wife or husband that morning and then is marking your speaking, that's not going to affect the score, right? Because it's not a human marker. Whereas with human markers, there's always that subjective element. Their mood or some bias could change your results, and that's not fair. Okay. It's also very fast. So using the AI, we're able to process your speaking and your writing, and it still takes some time because it's a very complicated computer marking engine, but your results will come back under 2 days. So within under 48 hours. It's very easy to book in to sit your test. So we have test centers that are open all year round. They're dedicated testing centers. In Indonesia, our test center is at University Tanjung Pura, and you can book in to sit a test 24 hours before the testing date. So you could actually book a test today for Monday. So you would be ready to go on Monday and sit your test. And we're accepted by thousands of universities around the globe. So almost anywhere you want to go to study, you'll be able to take our test and they'll accept it. Especially in major countries like Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. And we're able to achieve all this because of our AI technology. And PTE Academic is the only test that uses this proprietary AI technology, this state-of-the-art AI technology to mark all components of the test. So with large-scale student surveys, these were the #1 things they liked about the PTE Academic. First, that the results come back very quickly. So test results, the fast test results is the #1 answer. They also liked that it was unbiased. So students thought that our test was the most fair test on the market for them. And you can take the entire test in one session. So there's no coming back to sit, you don't have to come back and do your speaking test separately. You do it all in one 3-hour session. So, and then you're done. Okay, so how do you book your test? It's really easy. You can use your laptop or your smartphone. You simply go to our website and you create an account, and then you can say where you want to take the test. You'll see a calendar, and you select the day and time that's convenient. Then you pay for your test, and you're ready to go. We also have a lot of preparation resources. So, you know, things like our practice test, free courses you can take, videos you can watch, all of this to help you prepare to sit the test. Then you go and take the test at our test center. Your scores are ready and returned under 2 days, and you can start providing your scores to your university that you're looking to apply to. So this whole process takes about 5 days or under 5 days. So you can do the whole thing in under 5 days. There it is. It talks about our score return time, 1.2 days in 2019. So about 33 hours after you take the test, you'll get your score returned. So again, when you want to take our test, we have a guided registration system. So it means you select where you want to study, what you want to study, and it will tell you the right test for you. Okay. We also recommend that if you need help with registering to sit your test, you can go to an agent, an education agent like Best Partner Education, and they'll be able to run you through this whole process. They can hold your hand and get you registered for your test, and they'll even help you with discounts and preparation, and they can also help you, of course, with choosing the right university and the right program as well. But they will, you know, the testing component that any university abroad you want to study in, you'll need an English language test. They can give you some good advice about that, how to book in and so on. So again, you choose where you want to study, what your goal is, and then we'll give you the correct test, whether it be the PTE Academic or the PTE Academic UKVI if you're going to the UK and you want to study below degree level. You'll need a Tier 4 student visa. But again, all this advice you get from an education agent like Best Partner Education. So what does the test center look like? This is our example of what a test center looks like. So it's very friendly, but it's high security as well. So you do a palm vein scan where it actually reads your palm. Now people ask, why don't they do my fingerprint? There's actually more definition in your palm than there is in your fingerprint. So that's a little interesting factoid for you. You have to leave your belongings in a locker. And then when you go into the test center, you're in cubicles like this, and you have your earphones and a microphone to record your speaking, and you do the whole test in that space. So it's very comfortable and very secure. As I mentioned, you have an invigilator who's watching as you take the exam. So if there's some issue, you feel like your microphone's not working or you can't hear the volume in your earphones, you just raise your hand and they'll come and assist you. Okay, so before you take the test, once you register, you'll get a list of rules and regulations. And then test rules and regulations, read through those. You bring your passport or another official ID on the day. You check in with your passport, you do the palm vein scan, you do an electric signature, and then you go in to sit your test. And as I said, it's a very seamless process. You're monitored by CCTV. So the only important thing to know is that there's no way to cheat on this test. And to try is just gonna bring you a lot of stress and trouble. And this is what you get back. You get a test score, looks like this. And it gives you your overall score and your 4 communicative skills. So you're listening, reading, speaking, and writing. These are the 4 main parts of the test. And what are your scores on each of those? And you also get enabling skills. So if you don't get the score you required, then you can see where you need to make up. So this person didn't do well on their written discourse. They need to work on their writing skills, their typing skills, or something like that. All you need to send to the university is your score report code. This is valid for 2 years, and they just put this into a system and it will call up this score report for them on their system. We align our scores to the IELTS and the TOEFL. So if you've taken one of these or you have an idea about what your TOEFL or IELTS score is, you can get an idea about what your PTE Academic would be as well. Of course, you know, it's not 100%. A lot of students score better on the PTE Academic because they're more comfortable with that computer-based environment than having to speak one-on-one with a human marker. So we actually see increased better scores in the speaking and the writing in PTE Academic than some of the other tests. Another popular thing about our test over IELTS is they use a band score, and we use what's called granular scoring. So it means that if I need to get a 6.5 for my program in IELTS, and I score a 57, so if I need to get a 6.5 and I get a 6, there's actually a big range in there. Whereas with PTE, I'll know if I need to get a 58 and I get my score back and I got a 51 or a 57, it's a big difference in how much preparation I need to do before I go and sit it again. So the granular scoring is a big help to show how much work you need to continue to do or where you're at. Just if you're looking, so most of you I think are high school now, so you would be looking at your undergraduate degree. And you know, in most English speaking countries for university level, undergraduate would be somewhere between a 51 and a 61 on the PTE Academic. Of course, sometimes there's colleges and there's pre-sessionals where they'll have a much lower score. So even with like a 42 or a 40, you could get into your program depending on which one it is. So where can the PTE Academic take you? As I mentioned, we're accepted all around the world. 1,000+ universities in the USA, places like Harvard and Yale accept our scores. 90% of Canadian universities, so almost any university in Canada. 98% of universities in the UK. So there's only 2 universities in the UK that don't accept our scores. Scholarships like the Chevening Scholarship, you can use our scores to apply to that. A growing number of universities around Europe, places like Germany, Norway, Sweden, Finland, France. These are becoming more popular study destinations. And also Southeast Asia. So I think a lot of students from Indonesia actually go to Malaysia and Singapore to study in university because it's a bit cheaper, it's closer to home, and we're accepted by places like NUS, NTU, and 40+ universities in Malaysia. We're also now accepted for your Lpdp scholarships, both domestic and international. And our strongest foothold is in Australia, where in Australia we seat, I think about over 200,000 test takers a year in Australia, and we're accepted by 100% of their universities, all their visa types, and all their scholarships in Australia and New Zealand. So if you're planning to study in Australia and New Zealand, you don't even need to check the university. They'll accept the PTE Academic score. Just some schools around the world that accept our score: UBC in Canada, University of British Columbia. I'm actually from BC. I went to the other school though, called SFU. You can see University of Pennsylvania, University College of London, a very popular one in the UK for international students. So we're accepted by governments for their visa. So if in the far future you want to go work in Australia, New Zealand, or the UK, you can take our test. If you're applying for scholarships, the Chevening Scholarship or the Fulbright or the Lpdp or the Australia Awards, again, they accept the PTE Academic score. And all these top universities around the world accept PTE Academic scores. One other thing is professional bodies. So maybe you study accounting and then you want to go be an accountant in Australia. You'll need to get both your work visa and you'll need to get a professional body for accountants to also approve you to join their organization, and you'll need a PTE Academic score. As I mentioned, this year, we just were recognized as by the Lpdp Scholarship. And you can see here, TOEFL, IELTS, and the PTE Academic scores listed. So this year, they only have 2 scholarships that are open, but next year, when all of their scholarships are open, will be accepted alongside the other high-stakes tests. So you can apply for that scholarship in the future if you're interested, using a PTE Academic result. So what does our test look like? Okay, it is 3 parts, with a 10-minute break. It's 3 hours long, and we actually can, with the AI marking, we can integrate different skills. So you can do the speaking and writing sometimes in 2 parts, or you'll be doing a listening and a writing, or a listening and a speaking. So that integrated skills we're able to do with our proprietary AI. So here's one example of a speaking question. It's called repeat a sentence. So simply you'll hear a sentence, you'll have about 3 or 4 seconds, and then your microphone will open and you need to repeat that sentence. So I'll give you an example. You can try along if you like.
The university has a world-renowned school of archaeology.
I wait, then I'll hear a beep, and then I would speak into my microphone. The university has a world-renowned school of archaeology. And then it will shut off because I'm done, okay? And it will send my answer to be scored. It's marking me on pronunciation, intonation, fluency, and all of those things. Did I get all the words correctly? So I'm testing both listening and speaking. I actually messed up and repeated one of the words, so I would be marked down a little bit on that. I wouldn't have got a perfect score. Okay, look at the map below. This is another one. It's another speaking. It's called describe an image. You'll have a map or a graph. You'll have the instructions. You'll see this current status, which means that I have 23 seconds before I have to start speaking. In the exam room, you have an erasable whiteboard, so I can actually make some notes, and then again, I'll hear a beep, and I start speaking. You'll see a little bar here, and when you speak, it will go green to show that your voice is being registered, okay? So I should be speaking for 40 seconds to give my response, describing this map. So this is one that takes some practice, but with some practice, you'll actually get a better score than you would on some other tests. So you're not being prompted like an interview in another test, you're just speaking uninterrupted for 40 seconds. So that's different than the other test, but with a little bit of practice, you can actually do quite well on it. So this student has a graph that they need to describe. So again, they'd have 25 seconds to study the graph. It's a good idea to make some notes about what are the main points you're going to talk about. And then I need to speak. So we'll listen to this student and I'll tell you what level they are on the CEFR scale, which is some of you might be familiar with, Common European Framework.
Here we can see some statistic about some proof cases and week numbers. So it shows, it depends on the week, how many sunk proof cases in millions. And it's about items per question. So we could find that in the 150 week number, there's the maximum result, which is 1,000 million.
Okay, so that was the student. He'd be around a B1, we'd say. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect answer. He made some pronunciation errors. He described the content generally. He should have made a conclusion at the end about, we will continue to see the purchases of songs rise into the future. well beyond the 1 billion, something like that. Online, and I'll talk about it later, you can get lots of help with your preparation. This one, you would just simply listen and fill in the blanks. So again, there's little strategies. I recommend that students use the whiteboard rather than try and fill it in, rather than type it in directly as they listen, because you'll get lost and miss points. So it's better to listen and just try and write as on the whiteboard as you go, and then fill it in afterwards. So little tips like that can help a lot. So again, we'll listen and try and fill it in.
We've decided to adopt, just as a loose theme for the course, a biological theme.
Anyone get that? Biological theme.
So that you can see the connections between chemistry and biology and the things that you might consider doing in the future. We want you to think about the molecules that are relevant to your body.
So again, this was molecule. So it's not easy. They're tough words. It's called the PTE Academic. So it is academic language. Also, you might be having difficulty hearing. In the actual test, you would have the earphones on. Okay, here's another reading one. So this one, you would have a paragraph, and you have to reorder that paragraph into the correct order. So I need to find which would be the first. I know it's not however, you don't start a paragraph that way. Recruiting top talent on a budget is challenging. So this looks to me like it would be the topic sentence, and I'm correct. And then I would go to however, and then my concluding sentence here. So again, lots of practice you can do with these type of item types. We offer a lot of preparation material online, which I'll get to in a little bit. Finally, if you want to prepare, you can scan that with your smartphone, and it will take you to what we call the taster, which is 5 item types that you can do. So reading and fill in the blanks is the first one. And I even get like a little report card at the end. Now, this is more like a fun introduction you can do to our test rather than an actual like practice test. Don't consider it that, but it is a good little quick introduction to what the PTE Academic's all about. But if you decide you want to take our test, the preparation is the key to being successful. So you only have to take the test once to get the score you need. I would recommend you go to someone like Best Partner Education. They can help you prepare and get the score that you need. So they have a lot of understanding of where to go for the best preparation resources. So not only can they help you book your test, they can give you advice on how to be successful. I also recommend the Practice app, which you can download for your smartphone, and you can practice anywhere, anytime. And we have some free courses as well. So this is a free course you can take. It's 3 hours, and it just introduces you to each item type. And again, if you go to our website at www.pteacademic.com, you'll get /preparation. You'll be able to find all of these resources there. And one of our strongest resources for preparation is a scored practice test. So we have a mock test. Because we can use the AI technology to mark your speaking and your writing, we have a mock test that you can buy and you can take anywhere. You can take it from home on your computer, and it's a mirror image of the actual test, and you'll get your results, a full score report with your speaking and your writing marked 20 minutes after you take the test. So again, you do have to purchase this, but it is really the ultimate preparation experience, better than anything else on the market for showing you where you're at with your level and how well you'll score on the actual test. So I recommend anyone who's going to sit the PTE Academic, it's a really good idea to do a practice test first, to get an understanding of whether you're ready. It also familiarizes you with the test items and gives you that experience before you go and sit the test. So you can talk to Best Partner Education. They can help you, with registering for a practice test or selling you a practice test as well, vouchers. So please reach out to them if you have questions about registration, preparation, or needing a practice test. So just to review, what makes our test different? What makes it better than some of the other high stakes language tests? It's more convenient. You can book in only 24 hours before you need to sit the test. So like I said, I could book today and sit the test on Monday, Tuesday. We test 365 days a year around the world. The test is only a single 3-hour, and you get your results back under 48 hours. It's very accurate. So a computer marking your test is more accurate than a human. It's also more fair and more unbiased. As you might have seen in the examples, our questions are academic content. So that's why universities like it, because it's the type of language you'll be using when you're sitting in a lecture or you're going to an economics class. All of these sort of the English we're testing is based in an academic context. So that's why it's really good for university entrance. And finally, the security of our test centers and being computer-based is very popular for governments and universities. They know that if they have a PTE Academic result, they know it's been fair and there's been no cheating or dishonesty. All right, I'll open it up for questions now. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gordon. I would like to summarize what has been explained before. Okay, semuanya. Pak Gordon udah menjelaskan tentang PTE atau Pearson Test Academic. Itu adalah tes profisiensi kemahiran bahasa Inggris untuk visa, untuk imigrasi, dan juga untuk students ke luar negeri yang sudah diterima hampir seluruh di kampus-kampus dunia dan yang hasilnya sangat fair, cepat, dan juga akurat, yang bisa digunakan untuk profesional juga dan juga imigrasi ataupun students yang mau ke luar negeri. Tesnya terdiri dari speaking, dari writing, dari reading, ada listening juga, dan itu melalui computer based. Tes ini hampir sama dengan IELTS atau TOEFL, ini udah hampir setara, atau bisa dibilang setara karena udah worldwide, around the world. Untuk tesnya bisa dilakukan kapan saja, 1 tahun full, hari apapun bisa, dan harinya dan jawabannya dan hasilnya akan keluar dalam paling cepat 2 atau 3 hari. Ada yang ingin bertanya?
Ya, silakan bertanya. Siapa mau bertanya? Silakan.
Mr. Gordon, there is one question from Maria Ratu.
Hi.
Is there any other language that can be tested beside English, like Mandarin or Korean?
Not using the PTE Academic test, no. I think those, PTE Academic is only used for testing your English language. I know different countries. I know in Japan there's a JELT, which is Japanese language test, and I imagine that there's one for Mandarin. There's definitely one for Korean. So but how you access those in Indonesia, I don't know. We don't know.
Thank you very much. Maria Ratu, terima kasih atas pertanyaannya. Jawaban dari Pak Gordon, tidak bisa menggunakan PTE, tapi bisa menggunakan tes-tes dari pihak yang yang menggunakan Mandarin atau Korea. Oke, selanjutnya ada pertanyaan dari there is another question from Vita Jennifer. What if we are interested to go there? Do we have some place to stay in there to prepare already before? Oh.
If you want to...
Maybe take the test.
Yeah, so if you want to take the test, yes, so there's two. So being in Pontianak, there's two ways that you could either go to, like, as I said, Pest Partner Education offers some preparation assistance. I don't know full courses if you guys have those, but definitely some preparation assistance and courses that you can take with them, which is a big help. The other one would be there's online resources. So you can go to our webpage, go to our YouTube channel, and you'll get lots of videos and test tips and things like that you can access to help you prepare. I mentioned the app and doing the practice test are also good preparation resources. So so that would be what I'd recommend. Before you sit the test, it's very important to do preparation, and those would be the best channels.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gordon. Vita Jennifer, jawaban dari Pak Gordon, kita harus berada di tempat yang mengadakan, di kota tempat yang mengadakan tes, dan juga bisa ke base partner. Jadi dengan kita akan mengurus semuanya hingga dari awal, dari preparasi juga kita bisa bantu, dan hingga ke tes PTE-nya. Oke, terima kasih Vita Jennifer atas pertanyaannya. Selanjutnya, there is another question also. Wait, sir. Yang lainnya kalau ingin bertanya boleh, bisa juga dalam bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa. Akan coba saya translatekan. Okay. Another question is from Stephen Andika. Is PTE test is more efficient than TOEFL or other tests?
Yeah, so more efficient, I would say so. It's more accurate. You get your results back faster. It's easy to book into. And it's more fair and unbiased. So yes, I would say it is more efficient than both the TOEFL and the IELTS in that way. But it's also, it depends on the individual a little bit. So say for an IELTS, when you do the speaking test and you're with an interviewer, and you have a human marker marking you right. Some people are more comfortable with that. Other people, they may get really nervous and freeze up. So while your English language is a higher level, you're actually performing lower because of your nervousness and having to face that person one-on-one. So I think, depends on your individual preference, but we find a lot of people who were unsuccessful with IELTS or TOEFL, taken the PTE Academic and actually got the score they needed.
Okay, thank you very much for Stephen Andika. Jawaban dari Pak Gordon adalah PTE bisa dibilang lebih efisien karena bisa di-booking kapanpun, hasilnya juga lebih cepat, dan juga kalau di IELTS itu kita harus nunggu ada tanggal-tanggalnya. Kalau di PTE bisa kapanpun. Oke, terima kasih Andika atas pertanyaannya. Selanjutnya, ada dari Grace. Can we another question from Grace Cesarya Wulandari. The question is, can we use the PTE test result if TOEFL University needs our IELTS or TOEFL score?
Yeah, you should always check the university's. You should always check the university you're applying for their requirements on there. So for international students, they'll say requirements, and they'll list the different tests that they accept. So, but usually, and depending on the country, they'll accept PTE Academic alongside TOEFL and IELTS. I would say, and there's a few countries I can guarantee. So Australia, yes. New Zealand, yes. Canada, 90% chance. There's only one university, I think, that doesn't there, University of Toronto. And in the UK, almost 100% yes, unless you're going to Oxford or Cambridge. I think those are the only two that don't accept us currently. So yeah, always check with the university. Always check with the university page for their requirements, and you will probably see PTE Academic listed as one of the tests they accept alongside IELTS and TOEFL. In the rest of the world, we're much more well known than we are currently in Indonesia. So Indonesia, it's not as well known as the other tests, but in other parts of the world, it's considered, yeah, just as well known as TOEFL and IELTS.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gulodon. Jawaban dari Grace Seisaria Wulandari. Apakah kita bisa menggunakan PTE di universitas yang membutuhkan IELTS atau TOEFL? Jawabannya bisa, tapi kita cek dulu apakah mereka membutuhkan spesifik, kayak mungkin mereka butuhnya cuma IELTS atau TOEFL aja gitu kan. Tapi mostly, Pak Gordon bilang udah bisa garanti, hampir negara yang speaking English pasti udah menggunakan PTE. Jadi, kita bisa menggunakan PTE sebagai pengganti IELTS atau TOEFL yang lebih efisien, lebih akurat, dan juga lebih cepat. Selanjutnya dari, terima kasih Grace atas pertanyaannya. Selanjutnya dari, siapa nih? Maria. Another question, sir. Pertanyaan selanjutnya dari, another question is from Maria Ratu. Dari Maria Ratu. Is there a reduction in fees for high school students?
Right, so the price of our test in the Indonesian market is 185 USD, US dollars. So it's slightly cheaper than the IELTS. If you go to a place like Best Partner Education, they may be able to get you a discount. So sometimes we share discount codes, not for high schools, but if you go to Best Partner Education, they may be able to give you a 20% discount on your tests, or 10%, depends on, we have different promotions we run, but I would recommend go to an agent like Best Partner Education, and they may be able to get you a discount on that $185 fee.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gordon. Maria Ratu, jawabannya tidak ada pengurangan bonusnya hingga 20% kalau di Best Partner. Jadi, atau bisa dibilang dari 2.750.000 menjadi 2.250.000. Yang pengurangannya hingga Rp500.000. And another question is from Vita Jennifer. Vita Jennifer, terima kasih atas pertanyaannya. Vita Jennifer, can we, another question from Vita Jennifer is, can we use the scholarship for the university too? Does it have minimum score university?
Right, so we are, yes, so there's a number of scholarships offered for universities, and some, they have different countries and different, so the Fulbright for the US, the Chevening if you want to study in the UK, the Australia Awards for study in Australia, and of course the Lpdp domestic scholarships, and we're also by Ristekdiki accepts our scores. So these are all different scholarships for different places you want to study, and they would all, yes, they're all used for they're all used for study in university, but they all have different requirements and different levels of study. So some are for undergraduate, some are for masters, some are for any program, but they all accept PTE Academic, and they're all used for study and yes, they would have minimum score, but they're all different minimum score. So I couldn't say which one is which. So for example, Lpdp, the minimum score, I think for domestic is like 32 or 33. But then if you want the international scholarship, you have to get a 50 or above.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gordon, for the answer. Dari Vita Jennifer, tadi pertanyaannya adalah, can we use the scholarship for the university too? Does it have a minimum score? Ya, jawabannya kita bisa menggunakan PTE sebagai persyaratan dari scholarship untuk university. And does it have minimum score? Itu tergantung lagi dari kampus atau scholarship-nya. Dan juga kalau kita scholarship, PTE udah mengcover hampir scholarship yang bergengsi. Bisa dibilang kita bisa menggunakan PTE untuk apply scholarship. Another question is dari Lenny. Terima kasih Lenny atas pertanyaannya. Pertanyaannya is
how does it
how does the
administer the writing test? Good question. So your writing test, there's different writing components, but the main one would be the essay. So you type your essay. I think it's 300 words maximum. So you're given a topic, like an IELTS essay topic. If you've looked at those, it will be similar. Discuss the advantages of disadvantages of self-driving cars or something like that, or agree or disagree, right? People say that violence on television and movies causes a greater violence in society. Do you agree or disagree? So you get a topic like that, you have to write 300 words. So you type it at your computer console, and it is sent off with your test, and the computer actually marks your writing as well. So it uses an AI. So it's not a human marker marking your computer. Now that's an advantage for the writing, because there's actually, when you use human markers, there's something called a angel devil bias, which means that a human marker is very unlikely to give a perfect score or a score of 0. But a computer marking only uses the data. So we find that in the writing especially, students do better on our test than the IELTS writing component. And that's because human markers tend to be looking for errors, whereas the computer doesn't. It just looks at the data and says, whether it's correct or not.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gordon. Jawaban dari Mr. Gordon dari pertanyaan Bu Leni, how does the PTE Administer Writing Test, adalah PTE menggunakan 300 words dari banyak topik. Itu bisa agree to disagree, atau advantages, atau sebuah argumen yang membutuhkan untuk kita menulis 300 kata. Dan juga bedanya kalau di IELTS itu mereka penilaiannya pakai human. Jadi mereka itu bakal terjadi human error-nya. Sementara kita pakai computer, jadi kita hasilnya tidak bakal ada bias, jadi kita tidak mungkin jawabannya bisa 0 atau bahkan 9, bahkan tidak sesuai sama sekali gitu. Jadi jawabannya kita menggunakan AI katanya tadi. Jadi akan lebih akurat di dalam bagian writing-nya. Oke, terima kasih Bu Leni atas pertanyaannya.
Iya, Mas, waktunya sudah lewat 5 menit juga, Mas.
Iya. Maaf ya, Bu.
Nggak apa-apa. Ya, nggak apa. Semangat juga sih, ini hal yang baru ya.
Iya.
Ya, karena kita cuma tahu TOEFL IELTS, terus kemudian ada PTE ya.
Iya.
Iya, dan sangat efisien juga tesnya.
Ya, lebih murah juga.
Iya, lebih murah sedikit lah ya.
Iya.
Iya.
Oke, terima kasih Bu Leni. Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you. Have a good Saturday.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gordon. Thank you, Mr. Rivaldo.
Thank you, Rivaldo.
Nggak ada foto dulu kan, Ibu?
Boleh, Pak. Boleh foto.
Sir, we're going to take a picture.
All right.
Okay.
Ya. Rivaldo yang foto kan ya?
Oke.
Oke.
Tunggu dulu. Oke. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Lagi ya. 1. Posenya semuanya. Kalau mau pose.
Nah, posenya ayo. Pose yang paling bagus.
3. Oke. Thank you semuanya.
Okay, thank
Selamat
you. Have a
sore.
nice weekend.
Semoga
Thank you. You too. Have a
Yeah.
good weekend. Thank you, everyone, for
Weekend
listening.
semuanya.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Good weekend.
Oke, terima kasih ya Bu.
Oke, makasih ya Pak Rivaldo.
Saya izin live ya.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih. Ya, baik.